Okay, so it's 5:13 on the 21st, Sunday, and there's more still going on in northern Idaho. Like this other weird thing, like so their power company is a private corporation. How many of them really are out there, you know? But they decided, I don't know if they just turned it off or just started going off because they weren't supplying enough or whatever, but a huge amount of San Francisco lost power and they don't have it all back on yet, I don't think. But there was lots of people talking about that, that shut down everything, shut down street lights. They have robotic cars, it shut those down. It shut down people's all their lights in their houses. People are stuck in elevators. So big freaking more bullshit. And starting at 4 a.m., they were having a windstorm come in and up in the northern part, and then up like Tahoe and stuff, and then by Reno. See, by Tahoe they were having flooding that's supposed to be starting, and then by Reno I think they're supposed to be having snowstorms, and they could get up to 8 feet up in the higher elevations. So they got all sorts of stuff going besides having, all these multiple earthquakes and stuff. So I don't know. It still seems. I mean, when the one kid who said in his NDE that each day he was shown all this bad stuff happening, you'd think it'd be much worse than the stuff that is happening. So I don't know. How accurate his thing was, but I don't know. NDEs are, I mean, maybe it is little stuff leading up. Maybe there is going to be, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But I do trust, like, more the spiritual side in the world, in our communication or whatever. So, people who are getting all these prophetic dreams and visions and stuff like that, it's just hard to figure out time, what the timing is. And but I definitely think that all this stuff is going to happen. I mean, I see it, and it just, I think that's the way, and who knows if that's going to be a big thing, because there's so much nonsense always fucking going. Just like the corporation being exposed, like, just turn your power off. It's like right before Christmas, it's dead winter. And then they're supposed to have this windstorm, which then they could, they said that there was a problem with the grid. I don't trust any corporation. I trust more of these people with their prophetic dreams than I do any corporation that says anything. I keep arguing with this thing with the bag. I knew it was going to, and this bag is made so shitty. Oh my God. It is just like glue. It is so, oh my God, I can't even believe it. And so I'm arguing with this customer service person. They won't give me information to send it back. They said it's too costly. They're already losing money on this. Are you motherfucking kidding me? You're losing money? And they said yesterday it was they'll give me 20%. Because at first it was 10%. Then it was 20%. Now it's 30%. Well, the 30% is the best we can do. We're losing money on this thing. It's like, dude, this thing probably cost a penny to make. And you're losing money? That still means I paid $35 for this junky ass thing. Which somebody told me, and I saw somebody else on TikTok, because I did a video yesterday to show it, and somebody else got screwed. And not on that, there's these weighted, I don't know, they're little stuffed animals. Well, they're supposed to be big stuffed animals, and they have this weight. I don't know what, if they are. I don't really know that much about them. But anyway, so the girl ordered one. And then they said that add $5 more and you can get two. And you were supposed to be paying $15 for shipping. Well, then they charged her twice for shipping, put both of them in the same bag. And so they charged her I don't know. I think she was around $45 or $50 on her purchase. And so she got it now. And it's not the same thing as what they showed on the thing. They're little, they're no weight to them. And so she was pissed off and she was doing a video. And I know she's getting the same bullshit as me. They don't give you your money back. They totally misrepresent the product. And then they don't give you your money back. And so when in my video that I was showing it, somebody said to contact the bank and put it in as fraud. So I'm going to try that Monday. I'm not going to take their 30%. I'm going to keep arguing with them. I just sent them pictures to show how shitty the thing was made, and asking them, why'd you misrepresent what you're selling? You know, that's the problem here. And so Monday morning, I'm going to call the bank and see if I can make a fraud thing on it and get my money back that way. Because it is, oh, God damn, I swear to God, it is so junky. I mean, it's just like, oh, my God, you paid $50 for this piece of crap. So, anyways, but there's more. So you gotta really watch out. And then somebody else said that their cell phone company is Boost. And somebody called from Boost. It said, and then they said that somebody was trying to make a purchase, and so they needed to check with the fraud thing with the guy. And then the guy was like, well, he wasn't trusting him. So he's like, well, what's my address? And so they knew his address. So then he started thinking that they were legit. So he started answering their questions, and then they gave him a code. Once he did the code, it opened up his phone to them. And so they got into his phone, which then they got into his wife's phone. They were trying to take everything. They were going through everything. And so he was saying, you can't trust any of these things. They call you, just hang up. Don't take their codes. Don't open links. They send out all these emails all the time. And you open those links. I get one that they sent, because they were even sending it to my mom. And so she was believing it, that it was toll charges that I owed on the car. And I said, I don't owe any toll charges. Those are a scam. And she opened one, and I said, you don't open those things. You can't open those. You can't open those links. That will access your phone, and then they can take everything. And it puts viruses in your phone and shit. And so she said, well, I didn't open the link. I just opened the email. And I said, but they even put it on their website. We will not send you emails. And so there's tons of these emails that get sent out, not just from toll companies or whatever. It's just like, it can be anything. I get so many. I have a lost package. They need my information. It's just constant. I just erase. Don't open any of them, because they're all just scams in order to get into your phone. And supposedly these quantum phones that we're supposed to get, that they're unpenetratable. Like, they can't hack into them. They can't do things. So, I mean, that'd be a blessing, because this is nonsense. And they go and just take all the people's monies out of their bank and everything. So, you gotta watch out for those. And then plus anything that you purchase. And even when it says it's made in America, you're buying it from America. Because that one thing, I thought I was buying it from Tennessee. And then, it starts coming from China. So the stuff that they can get away with, I think that's part of what Donald is trying to do. Which, there was another video, and I don't know if this is for real, because there's so many of these fake videos out. So many. But supposedly that Rob Reiner's place had not only, let's call them hallways underneath, but it also had hidden doors, hidden rooms that were not on the blueprints, and only certain people were privy to this information. And so supposedly, while there's been an investigation going, they're finding a lot of weird stuff where they're saying, that this seems that there's more going on here. And so I don't know. I mean, there's so much weird stuff. I mean, I knew it was some weird shit because it was just too many things. And but so now more weird shit. And who knows? Because a lot of these people, when they say they're gone, I think maybe they get to, maybe people who are involved who go over there to the get. But see, I don't know because he was supposedly at that party that night. So if he was at that party, he couldn't have been over there at the get. But they make up so much stuff. It's just so hard to know any of the stuff. That's why you can just spend all your energy and deplete yourself trying to figure out all the stories that they're spinning all the time. But there could be some kind of a, well, you're going to meet the squad, but in the media, we can release a different story. And then in the media, they release stories of like, oh, the cancer got them, the brain disease got him, this got him, that got him. But then so that they can like save face or whatever in the public eye. But then they come in the back door and leak out more information about the corruption that these people were involved in. And, or something, because they supposedly released all this stuff on Jeffrey Friday. And so you have all these people going through all that stuff. And there was something I had seen. I can't remember what it was. But anyways, they got all of that stuff going. And then, so I don't know, is that to kind of have it fresh on your mind? And then certain people are being taken out, and then they just so happen to be very anti-Donald, and even to the point that they're making a movie about stuff, and then they have been revealed to be a part of this conspiracy that was created by Barack. And so I don't know. I mean, there's so much nonsense. And Erica, I don't even get what the deal is with her still. If she's being exposed or if she's playing a role to expose all this stuff, because she's over the fucking top. And I mean, her coming out in her glitter suits, her makeup all done. This is a woman who's supposed to be mourning. And she's coming out rocking leather pants and there's just stupid ass shit. Just like she did an interview and she said, oh, she doesn't drink. No way. She just stays home. She didn't even date for 5 years before she met Charlie. And now they've got all this stuff coming out. So the one guy, Tyler, who has the same name as the guy who supposedly, and she was dating him. I don't know, for years or however. This is all, these 5 years of nothing. And then this other guy who now is working for some kind of branch of the Turning Point. So he's got a job now. And this is her ex. And in all these people that are finding these photos, because she was on some reality show. And she's pounding them down. There's all sorts of videos and stuff of her. It's like, she tries to put up, and there's people like, my mom and stuff. There's people who believe her, that believe she's this wholesome, sweet girl who was married to Charlie and she loved him and they had kids. Like, where's her kids? Like, where's her kids? Why is her kids never with her? And she's always just out, making the rounds, dressing up, getting her makeup done, always having her hair done and stuff. She doesn't look like, do we ever even see her eyes puffy? Does she ever even look like she's cried? And then there's all this these people now saying the reason why Candace all of a sudden flipped and is so happy and excited is because they're sure Charlie walked in the room. They're sure now she has seen that he's still there. And that's also, the whole thing with Erica. What does she have to mourn about? Why would she be mourning? But there's more to the story then. There's way more. Because why go through all this? And then there's this whole thing of this place putting up this what would you even call it? It's a booth at a thing, a place. I'm not sure. At first I thought they were saying it was Turning Point doing this, or some, not a festival, but something. And so they have a booth up that is set up exactly like what his was in when he was killed, so you can go in and take pictures. Who goes in and take? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think there's tons of people who have gone to Dallas and gone and take pictures on the grassy knoll, or gone and taken pictures in front of the place where Oswald was supposed to be. There's people who go on tours just to go to places where people were killed. But it's just like, I don't know. There's like a creepy side to people. It's just like super creepy. And I just seen this, I think it might be a couple of shelters that are doing free adoption fees, which to me, wouldn't that be a better solution than to just, well, they call it euthanasia, which is ridiculous. It's just plain old MURDER. It's not anything about, I mean, it's ridiculous. And they're doing it to puppies and stuff. They're doing it to healthy dogs. And then they're saying, well, they have to for space. Well, why aren't you doing more with this free adoption? Why are you charging all these fees? Why are you making it so hard for people? Let people come in and get the animals and try and, maybe they'd have more fosters and stuff. Maybe promote people to take the dogs home and, try them out or something. Do something different. But see, I think that the thing is that they make money off of the parts, off of because it goes into feeding the people. And, another thing too is that they were showing these clips of that place where, whatever this revival big thing, where they had this tent set up for Charlie, or what, where he was killed. Then one of the booths or something where some people were sitting, they had this big sign behind them. Jesus was Jewish. It's like, well, they don't see him as anything. They don't see him as a savior or whatever. It's like, why, what is this union between you guys? Like, because that's the thing. Like, if you talk to religious people, it's like, because I have, and yeah, they think that they are the chosen people, and the whole thing is so weird and ludicrous, and it's just like, I don't know, there's just so much weird stuff. And it's like, why don't people ever stop and question it? Just like these clouds. So you have all these weird clouds that shouldn't be in the sky together. So when you have a system, it's supposed to be, all these clouds are a part of that system. So then you have certain kinds of clouds. And when I was in school, we had class about clouds. They taught us about clouds. They taught us about the different kind. And it was all just indoctrinating us. But they taught us the different kinds. And so, like, ones that are going to hold rain, well, you wouldn't have ones that aren't holding rain when you have ones that are holding rain. You don't have a combination of clouds. And then right now we have all this cloud combinations going. So we have all these different systems, like all these different cloud formations, all these different things up in the sky at once. And some of them are, stuff that comes out of planes. and some is stuff that was left before. And so it's a lot of different stuff. Some of it I think is these realities marrying, these realms coming together up in the sky. And but I had this video, whatever. I'm always showing these weird clouds and stuff, and trying to say like, look at how weird this is. Trying to get people to question things in their mind. And this person comes in, does this long comment thing about, how I should go to class and learn about clouds, and give me this whole thing about learning about clouds so I would understand what I'm looking at and all this stuff. And I said, I already took a class on clouds. I already know. And maybe it's time for you to start thinking outside the box. Because that's the thing, is like these people just stay trapped in what they're told. They don't stop and question things. You try and show things and be like, look at this. Isn't this weird? And that's what's happening in our world right now. Of this trying to wake people up. It's like showing all of this absurdity. And people just continue, carry on. Or a lot of people just get really pissed off. Another thing I saw. So there was some kid. And I don't even know if this story is, the story is real. But I don't know if it really happened because there's so much made up stuff. But supposedly there was a kid, and I can't remember what state it was, and he was being chased by 3 carloads of angry white people. So 3 carloads of people is chasing this one guy down the road. He runs into the police station and tells them and asks for a ride home. And they say, sorry, we're not a taxi service and we're not driving you home. So go about your business. And which that when I was out there walking and it was more when I had the brain injury and they were out looking for me with helicopters and stuff. But a cop pulled up to me and asked me if I was okay, and I said, yeah, but I need a ride home. And he said the same thing. I'm not taxi service. It's like, okay, just leave me out here in the middle of nowhere then. And so so this kid, he just goes back out into being chased by these people, and now they've found his parts. He's been taken apart out in the woods. It's like, that's where it starts being like, I don't know. I just don't even know. I mean, do we have this many psychopaths coming together and they're all just joining up in gangs now? It's like, there's so much stuff that is just so weird and bizarre. And I think it is really supposed to be getting us to have compassion and empathy and giving a crap about other people, which Stella was just itching underneath me, and I got a whiff, and I was like, okay. So yeah, yesterday I was looking up about vaginitis in dogs, and it was saying, it was comment explaining all this stuff, and then it got to the part about older dogs, and it said that it can be due to anal gland retention or whatever, that due to arthritis. And that was the problem, as why she's had it before, and because of her arthritis and her hip dysplasia. And so I was like, because I have been trying all these different things. I've been trying yeast stuff. I've been trying the wipes. I've been trying the antibiotic with the, what is that stuff? Oregano oil and black seed oil pills. And I've been trying all these different things. All of the different, I have a lot of stuff. I spend a lot of money on all of her supplements and stuff. And which I haven't seen a big change yet from the plasma stuff. But so, anyways, so I'm going to take her, I'm going to break down, and I'm going to, because I had already tried to take her to get her anal glands, emptied 2 other times. And they were both like, oh, there's nothing in there. Well, the vet that we had before said they're super deep, and she's a chunker. And so a vet has to do it. Is to go in, and it just makes me nervous over everything in the medical. Like that one girl who I was talking about, she like her whole thing is like her looks kind of. I mean, she has a lot of stuff that she talks about, but it's a lot about what she looks like. And so she had this deviated septum, or it was like, I think she said it was a deviated septum, but then after she was saying she had all of this infection that she had to have cleared out. So I don't know what was going on in her nose, some stuff that was going on, and so she had to get this cleared out, this infection, which my thing, and it seems like it's moving too. But my thing has been overreacting lately too. So she has she goes in to get this surgery with a ENT doctor. And this is like, I think she's like a month out now, for sure 3 weeks. And so she's been doing videos crying and stuff because her nose is all messed up. So today she did a video with no filter or anything. She was even using filters. She said that she just is beside herself. She can't even look in the mirror. She keeps crying. She's just, which, you know, when she was saying she was going to do that, and I'm thinking about this other girl whose nose is collapsed into her face over these teeth. And it's like this chasing vanity is like blowing up. And this girl said she wasn't having anything changed on her nose. So she just, but it's this medical system. It's like, it's not, see, all of a sudden, oh, now it says DF or something. It has a code. And my heater thing. So she has, so she said she wasn't doing it for anything for vanity, that it was not, weren't supposed to change anything on her nose, but she had this, in fact, she wanted to be able to breathe. And so she went in and got it done. And so today in the video that she showed, it is, and my nose has been broken twice. So my nose is crooked too. So, but I've lived with it crooked my whole life. And I guess the first time it got broke, oh yeah, was when my dad hit me in the face with the chair. And then that broke it. And then I think a year later or so, I was in a car wreck and my face hit into the windshield. And that broke it again. And so, you know, I don't think it's like crazy crooked, like a boxer's or anything. But I don't know, you can just focus if you want to on things that, you know, that aren't perfect on you. It's like you got to let go of some of these things. But anyways, so her nose. So today she did a video and you could totally tell, because she said she's talked to the doctor and stuff. They won't do anything for a year, they said. And so her nose is totally going this other way. It's like it's totally going like this on her face, and her nostrils are totally turned like crooked, like this weird crooked way, which she has one of these that's real profound, you know, more noticeable, whatever these things are called. And she has like a deep one, and it's going crooked. So this whole thing on her face is turning and is going crooked. And she said she even had stuff on to try and slim her nose. And she said her nose is super big, and it's like it's changed her whole nose, changed her whole face by going and doing this. It's like, man, I already went and had my freaking bullshit with this medical. You know, I already went in to go get something fixed. My, you know, my problems in my stomach when they were taking out my uterus and all that stuff, which ended up being 2 surgeries, because then they left the fallopian tubes that were covered with cysts, and then it wouldn't stop growing cysts all over them. So they still had to go back and do a second one. And even when they did a second one, they had left holes in my vagina. It was a fucking mess, man. And not only that, they gave me a brain injury. And so it was just bullshit. And that was in '09. And so it was way, where everybody was deep into the medical system. I mean, we're all trying to get on to these fucking insurance plans and all this stuff. And look how much money we spend on insurance and crap. And then the whole system is just so flawed. And then it was that one really turned me up. Okay, because I had 3 different malpractice things. Was the my teeth, which I didn't even know dentists could do malpractice. I had no idea. You just go into these people and you trust them. And then that guy broke my 3 teeth. And then the brain injury and the 2 surgeries to do something they were supposed to do one time. And then the eye thing. When because the eye thing, I started having issues with my eyes, which I didn't even know I was having issues with my eyes when they first started telling me. But it was from the brain injury, it damaged the optic nerve, which was creating this pressure or something in my eye, which was creating blindness. But that isn't even taken into account that what was put in here to try and block this wrinkle right here, because I had that wrinkle right there because I was always angry. I was always like, God, I was in a rough time in my life. And my solution, was go and get this stuff put in. And so then I end up with this freaking cancer growth here on my eye because it goes down into there, because all of this stuff that you put in doesn't stay where you put it. It just moves around, which blows my fucking mind because we're not even real. It's like it has to do with your lessons and stuff. Like, this is where it always, like, there's nothing that is real. Like, so then, so get that stuff. So they didn't even take that into account, which then I have this, whatever, bed of worms or, but they would be, I mean, botulism, I don't even know what little parasites in there. Worm, little bug, who knows what the fuck. But so you have a whole little thing of those in there growing. And so then it starts having all this mucus in your eyes. So I was losing my sight. I was going blind. It was just getting worse and worse. And their solution was, put drops in there, which there has been issues now with some of these drops. There's been stuff in those that have blinded people and stuff, because I was like, I'm not comfortable with that. And I kept having reactions to them, and they kept trying all these different ones, and I was like, I can't do these. And so I was just like, I might be blind, I'm gonna be blind. And then they're like, oh, well, we got this great solution. We got this laser treatment. We'll just do this on you. So I go in and get that. This is right before lockdown. I go in and get that and come out. So I have my recheck in a couple weeks. Well, that's when they did lockdown. So you weren't allowed to go anywhere or do anything. So now I've had this. And from the moment I had it done, by the time I got home, my eyes were swollen. You couldn't even touch. Oh my God, it hurt. It hurt while he was doing it. The whole thing was just like this, and I could smell it, like burning my fucking eyes off. And my eyes became way worse. And then I was just like, okay, well, now I'm screwed. So everything that they're always doing just makes things worse every time. Yeah, that's how it goes for me. I mean, I don't know if there's people out there who are really having things go better after these people interfere with their stuff. Yesterday too. So this tooth, I was like, man, this tooth, it feels really sensitive. So I was in there looking in the mirror. I was like, fuck, that looks like a black hole again. It's like, man, is it getting worse? And then the way it's like sensitive. So I was like, God dang, is this getting worse? And I'm in my head always like, we're not even real, man. We're not even real. Like, and in these 3-letter agencies that start with a C, they're always trying to tell us how to do this stuff, and to use our minds and stuff. And a part of doing that is to let go of this concept of it being there and holding you back. And every time I try and like let go of certain things like pain or whatever, it's always like, well, it's there to teach you something. But um this is like, I don't even know, because we're not even real. This is like, so so yesterday I did a whole bunch of peroxide, like several times throughout the day. I kept going in and doing peroxide. And then I did the Uncle Harry's, I don't remember what that mirror is. It's called Miracle Wash or something, but it's like antimicrobial or something. It's something else besides the peroxide. So I was doing those yesterday, and it's not as sensitive right now, but all night long. And I got woke up so many times, and every time I would get woke up, I would go back into envisioning my tooth and go back into repairing it. So go in and visually, repairing it, fixing it, putting it back. So that is something about our mind, mind over matter. And so anyway, I don't and I kept, like, because it was so black yesterday. I was like, is something in there? I don't know. But I'm going to keep doing the same thing. I'm going to keep doing this, envisioning it, healing, and repairing it, and then keep doing this wash. But yesterday I was like, oh my God. I was even wiggling. I was like, fuck, I just wanted this thing out. Like, this is just so absurd how this just goes so long. It's over a year now when it broke. So, anyways, but now I'm going to keep doing the peroxide and the Uncle Harry's, and keep doing the envisioning it, picturing it healing, and let's see what happens. And so it was making me really nervous to take Stella into the medical, because just like anything, like, it's like I don't know, these people don't know what the fuck they're doing, man. I mean, so anyways, but it was like, well, if I don't want these, if her anal glands are super full, I don't want them to get impacted or something. And right now, I don't even know if that already is like, so, because it's been a long time since she had them done the last time. And the vet that I had before, who had done them, she'd done them a couple times, and she said that they're super deep, and that they're hard to get to, and there's tons of stuff in there. And so I'm gonna go tomorrow, and well, I'm gonna call them tomorrow and see if I can get in. And I even asked that one lady who has all the mastiffs, I said, is there a vet that you recommend around here that's good with mastiffs? And so I'm going to call the one that's the closest first, and because it's a woman vet and stuff, and I don't know, maybe she's not a jerk, maybe she's more gentle, maybe her hands are smaller, because the one who had done it before was a woman. And so I'm going to call her first and see, and try and get Stella in, and then see if that doesn't clear it up, because if nothing is working, so something, it makes sense to me that they're clogged, and that is causing this chronic smell, and her trying to, the irritation, her trying to lick it, and, so, because there's probably a lot of pressure or something. I don't know. So anyways, I'm going to try and do that. And then I don't know what the hell is going on with Max, but I'm going to have to be taking him too. He just puked. And I was just sitting there thinking this morning, oh, he hasn't puked in a while. And I've been doing this diatomaceous earth. And so I was like, oh, he hasn't puked. But he's doing other weird things. Like, he's drinking a lot, but he's not peeing a lot. Because I'm like, was he being like pre-diabetic? Is he, maybe he was never taken care of when he was little. Maybe he's got like heart worms or something. Maybe he's got, some tumor that's been growing in him for a long time. But I put all this stuff, like in their water, they have this CHDX, and that's supposed to, kill all parasites. So in all of the sea is these little things that are taking us over. And, same thing as like here, and it won't heal. And it won't heal because these little critters are in there. And so you have to keep trying to get rid of the little critters. And so anyways, so he's taking that stuff, but it's weird how he is like slowed down suddenly. Is like he's acting like he's like 90. Like when he it's kind of funny because he'll eat and he's eating so slow now, so slow. And I need to go and look in his teeth and see, like, does he have a broken tooth? Is there something wrong in his mouth? And but he's eating super, super slow. And then when he comes up and he looks at you, he's just got food all over his face. It's like, and he's sitting there staring at me right now. He knows I'm talking about him. Sent me put a video up and said, "Do animals know when you're talking about them?" Hell yeah, they do. I'm like, yes, they 100% know. They're a lot more connected too to psychic. They don't even need to. It's like they pick up on stuff. So, anyways, I don't know. He's acting like he's 100. He's drinking tons and tons of water. He's eating super slow. He's still doing his puking. And he starts like drooling recently. He started this drooling. And when we go to the dog park, he was like drooling. And it's like, man, I don't know. Something is going on with him. And so I need to take him in too. But I don't think I can take them both at once. So I think I'm going to take Stella, go see about that, and then I'll have to make an appointment and take him in and see about getting like labs, I guess, and seeing if they can find something in his labs. And then you got to consider, so if they come back and say, well, he's got the big C, then I'll say, well, I'm gonna work on it with natural, I'll start giving him the turkey tail, which I did try and give him some, but he is like, he doesn't want any of this, like he picks stuff out of his food. But I can empty it, so I can empty the turkey tail into his food, and then order some more of the horse paste and approach it that way, because I'm sure not going to go do their chemical thing, because that is like, no way. Not only is it costly, but it's worse for them. And so it usually is what, when people get to C and they go and do what the recommendations, that's usually what it takes them out. It's not even the C that takes them out, it's the treatment. So it's, I know we've got to approach the battle of the C in a different way, which I saw somebody saying every sickness can be healed. I think this may come out of the 3-letter agency stuff, but every sickness can be healed by, what was it? Fasting and one other thing. So something and fasting. I can't remember what it was now. But then I was like, back to the thing like, oh, is that going to heal my tooth? Like, I need to fast. But I have fasted while my tooth's been broken and it didn't heal it. So, anyways, I don't know. There's more stuff of people talking about the GATE program, and and I mean, if you've been following me for a long time, you already know that my daughter was in it, and when I was in school, my guides told me not to do the test. They kept on telling me just fill in the whole circles, and then I think after a couple years of doing that, and I was feeling kind of, like, well, maybe I should do it. I'm looking like I'm real, a real idiot. And when I would try and read it, I couldn't make sense of it. So I was like, okay, I'll just fill in the dots again. And so, just filling in the dots, because that test is where they're looking for certain gifted people. They're hunting. And so they find, whatever is in these tests, then they find certain people, then that is like a part of the filter system. So then they get them, then they take them into this other program. And in that program, because I'm hearing all these people talk about, my daughter is always like, I don't remember. It's like they do something, they like clear their memory. And Corey Good said that they did that. He said that they do something to clear it, because he also got taken into it. I didn't get taken into it because I didn't do the test. And so they couldn't find me. and but I didn't know, when my daughter was doing it, when my kids were doing those tests, I didn't know what they were looking for. I've only, figured this out now as all this stuff has been coming out. And but so, but when I had heard Corey Good talk about it, it was my kids are already gone through school, but but then that's when I started understanding more about it. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, my daughter was in that program. And then all this stuff started coming out about the gay program, and all these different people speaking out about it. And so I saw a couple of videos today about it. It like comes in these waves of people talking about things. And there's some kind of stuff that they had them drink, and it was they said like did it how were other people being told to drink this pink lemonade or whatever it was, some kind of a pink drink. And then this other guy was saying, well, when they put those earphones on you and they had you do the ink blots, they were checking for psychic stuff. And that's what Corey Good had said was how he got taken was because of his abilities. And that's why he was used by the secret program, the secret service program, or the secret space program, was as a translator, because he can speak through telepathy to these other beings. And see, that's what my gift would be, because I've been doing that since I was a little kid, speaking to these other beings, and which who I don't even know who's speaking to me, and they just were talking to me ever since I was little. And then the so and now, though, as I have gotten older too, now I see it as like uh this open, you got to open yourself up to this realm, this open communication kind of out there. And like everybody can do it. And it's just like they were looking, it's like they were, for one thing is they were looking for certain ones and they wanted to turn their stuff off, because I think they were worried about this time, and they didn't know how it was all going to play out, but they wanted to have the least amount of communication, the least amount of psychic people out here who were communicating with other beings, because that would ripple out into the awakening and get people like, like I can tell people like how to do it, how to start working on your communication so you can pull yourself out of this system. And so they didn't want people out there helping other people to pull free from the trap of this place and get people to, because how the thing is to keep them trapped. If there's all these people coming in who have these abilities and they're telling everybody else how to access their abilities and how to be able to start functioning, through your soul communication, instead of being trapped in this world of an illusion where you're just being, enslaved by these people who are controlling us through, it's through our confirmation, through our minds, using temptation, kind of. So the things that tempt you, the things that pull you, they use it against you. And so because there's the things when I've asked my daughter and stuff, then she's like, she can't remember, she can't remember this, she can't remember that. And I had seen a thing about where somebody was saying they were turning these things off in these people. They were trying to block them and block out their gifts, block them out of like cutting them off from their soul. So they had to go deeper into the mind control. They weren't trying to use them all like Corey Good. Like they already had some of those people. So then it was like, well, we got all these ones coming in who can do this. So what we do is we got to go in and turn it off on all of them. And then they create this gate program. So it's like they're hunting the kids in school. And then when they find them, they're trying to disrupt their communication by disconnecting them. And so I think that's what is kind of what they did. And so they have a harder time being able to reconnect back into their spirit. But they have these natural abilities. And so it's like, I don't know. To me, so much stuff is about remembering. Remember, you have natural abilities. Start paying attention to them and putting more energy towards them. But it's weird because they can make it to where spiritual stuff sounds weird and silly to them. It's like, but these people would be ones that would be really connected to that. So that's what makes me think like, okay, so that's like they've disrupted that system. And so anyways, I don't know. But there's all that kind of stuff being talked about. There's so many different things, and it is like all these different things. It's all about waking us up. It's just about getting you to wake up and think. Everything is about thinking for yourself. It's so weird how much people are just on this autopilot in life. And that's the whole thing is like when you're on autopilot, you're in your lower chakra. You have to heal in order to get off of autopilot. Otherwise, you're just on autopilot and you're just reactive to life. This happens and you're just reacting all the time. And it's toxic. You become really reactive to people, to situations, and it's not even current. It's not even current things in your life that you're reacting to. You're triggered by remembering some old thing. And I was talking to my mom yesterday about some situation that's going on. And so this one person is blaming this other person for how they feel. Everything is this person's fault. And it's even to the point that this person is a shopaholic, so the other person now blames it on them that they're a shopaholic. It's like, well, it's their fault. They made me this way. No, we have choices every day. It may not be easy to make a different choice. You may be more trained or more comfortable doing something that's easy, that you've seen over and over, and that you just go right into it. But you have control over you. You have to stop you. And then when you keep blaming somebody else, it's because you have resentment, you have anger, you're holding on to things. And you got to let things go. And you can't just blame somebody else. That's not going to get you anywhere. And it's so clear when you see it playing out. Like this person's so angry and so resentful, and they blame everything on this other person. And they want this other person to change. They're so mad. They think this person's a phony, a fake, and a liar. It's like, this is all coming from you. Just like what I was talking about with those people who had the big scar on their face. And they went out, and then they thought the scar was still there. And they're having all these conversations, and they go back and they report back. And then you realize like how much you're projecting how you feel about yourself out into the world. And you are assuming that people are treating you a certain way, but it's your projection of self. It's how you are picking up. It's just like what you assume. And it's like you have to, and that's all based like on insecurities and stuff. It's like you got to bust through these insecurities. You got to let go of things so that you can be more available. And that's the whole thing behind healing. That's the whole thing about moving through your chakra system. That's the whole point about like having this barometer inside of you, this chakra system, because it helps you to monitor yourself. It helps you, I don't know how it like holds energy in certain places, and in order to get the energy moving fully, you have to take out the blockages. Just like what I was saying yesterday about the error codes. So your blockages are like your error codes. So you have to work through the system in order to release the blockages. And so your lower chakra is where you're holding all your pain and your trauma. And so you have to release it, and then that's like sets it in motion. The energy starts to flow, but then it bounces and it hits into the next thing. And so then I'm not an expert on how the chakra system works. So then it's like your root, your sacral, or your sacral, then your root. No, I think it's your root, then your sacral. Then is it your heart next? It seems like there's something else in between. But all of these places where people have reproductive issues, people have, there's lots of issues coming out in gender and this whole thing, because it has to do with learning to love yourself. And when you have these blockages in those places, that is, due to pain and trauma and stuff. So that is in the area where you have issues. So like people who have gender dysphoria or whatever, then that chakra down in the reproductive is clogged. There's something that's clogging it, and that's why you need to work through stuff more emotionally than physically. But then this place wants to keep you in the physical, so they want you to come in and do physical rearrangement in order to do that, but it doesn't unblock what you have going. And that's why we have all these people right now detransitioning, because that didn't solve their problems. And now they've got new problems with their physicality because they have disrupted their hormones and all this stuff. So they've taken away their ability to be procreate naturally. And so so they've caused more problems with this, concept of, oh, well, fix your problems. You just got to change it up here. And, but when you have, so problems in your gut, and, which has a lot to do with, feelings and stuff. So you're holding on to feelings that are, like resentments and anger and frustration and stuff. You're holding on to all that stuff, and it's giving you issues in your gut, in your reproductive and stuff like that. So that's when you're down in your root chakra. And so many people have those issues and they don't know how to approach it. But you got to approach things through emotions, emotionally approaching things and processing through it. And your spirit is there to help you. Your guides are there to help you, but that is also in your spiritual communication. And you have to get comfortable being able to trust yourself and listen to yourself and ask yourself questions. What is blocking? What is the problem? And then to understand the interpretation of what it is you're shown and what it is that you need to do with the information and work yourself through it. And so once you start releasing that stuff and it starts moving the energy going up, it bounces into the next blockage, which ends up being hard. And then when people are not dealing with their loss of love, and it can be in other lives, it can be all these different things, because the things that are going on here are the triggers to try and help you bring this stuff up. And so you have all these people who have heart problems and stuff, and it is blocked energy that is in your space that needs to be cleared and cleansed. And people hold on to so much anger and stuff. There's even, I think, a push at certain point of like, you're weak if you worry about that. If you try and fix things or something, you should just not be bothered and let it go. But people can't let go when you have got these blockages. Then it's clear you're not just letting go of things. They're just sitting in you stagnant and creating an energetic block. And then as the energy stays blocked, then that's kind of funny too, how people start having blockages in their heart. It is energetic, these things that go on, and they start having issues with flow, issues with like their blood flow and stuff like that. So, so all your in the micro macro, your body's speaking to you. It's trying to get you to understand where the problem is. But that's why, when it's weird with these people, well, I'm just going to remove my chakras. It's like, I don't even know how you do that. I think you have to, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know. Like, so anyways, but so then once you clear all of this stuff that has pained you and caused you hurt in your heart and you let go of it, then you move up into the next and up into your throat chakra, where so many people have problems with their throat, with their thyroid, with mine. I have mine is always, ever since I was a little kid, if I got sick or whatever, I'd start losing my voice. I always got laryngitis. And then as time went on, then I had the what is that called, where reflux or whatever, and a hiatal hernia. And so when I would sleep, which I was always stressing out, is the acid would come up and it burned my throat. So it burned scar tissue into my voice box. That's what I was told. And then so my voice still has this issues. But when you go into your throat chakra, you can feel really blocked, and it can come out in all these different things. Like, I mean, there's people who have throat cancers. There's all this stuff, and for me, there was a lot. Like, it was where I wouldn't speak up. I wouldn't speak up for myself. I was shut down, and it started when I was a kid, and no telling what I carried from past lives about it. But a lot of us throughout different lives, we couldn't speak our truth. And I mean, lots of us had our heads cut off. Like, there's all sorts of things that you're trying to heal, and you don't have any idea what your visions are going to come that you need to heal. Could have been you were, met the guillotine and all of these things that happened that led up to it. And it's still in your code. You can't really remember it, but you have these weird feelings, these weird fears and stuff, but you have to look at them. You have to overcome them to release it, because otherwise you're going to keep having problems here. And so it can come from a range of things, but the blockage is something that you are holding on to. It's an energetic blockage of something from the past. And so you have to go in and release it. But anyways, in my life, it was, I wasn't able to speak up. You were shamed or whatever. And so I would just shut down, and I continued that. And was a big insecurity. Like, oh my God, I could not stand to speak in public, speak to large amounts of people. It was like a whole thing. That's why when I started doing this, when I very was going to start doing it, I was like, oh, hell no, I can't do this. And then I was gonna write. I was just gonna write in a book, and then I was like, "Oh my God, that's gonna take so long." And then I was like, "Oh, you just gotta get out there. You just gotta go speak it. You just gotta go speak your truth. Go out there and talk." And even though in small numbers you were made fun of and everything, but you had to overcome that. It took me a while to do it, and then but then once I overcame it, then it was like freedom, like it frees you. And so then it moves up into your next place, into your crown. And so people have headaches, which I had headaches because I had all these energy blocks. And so you have these headaches, you have people, and I feel so sure about, and I just saw something about this too, about TUMORs is energy blocks of something you're not dealing with. And I've been saying that, since, I first heard somebody got sick. I've been saying it's running away from something. It's not facing something. It's like easier just to let it go and die off than it is to face certain things. It's like, so it will come in all sorts of different access points of disease and stuff as it comes into your blockages. I mean, it probably has to do with, some people who are just stuck in depression, stuck in all these different things. Even the thing with people who are schizophrenic, when they're taught to not trust their visions, not trust their communication. And so it haunts them because it's something that you need to clean out and clear, and you have to trust yourself. You got to learn to trust yourself, that stuff is really happening. It's not just in your mind. Anything in your mind is really happening. And so you got to learn how to trust yourself, and maneuver the communication, maneuver the battle that you're in, this spiritual battle with these beings that are trying to overtake you. Because a lot of them, when these people are able to have such easy access, there is a force that comes in that is very haunting. It's very belittling and hateful. And so it's is kind of like you're being terrorized by demons, kind of, if you want to look at it in that way. But those there's these beings that are out there that are fucking with you all the time, and then so you got to learn how to, tell them to get the fuck out of here, fuck off, get away from me, shut the fuck up. And but they're told not to trust themselves. It's all in your head, which, if it's all in your head, it's real. And so if it's all in your head, and then don't trust it, and then go on certain strong medications and stuff. So anyways, that's, there's just lots of things that you got to deal with, to go through. And it has so much to do with learning how to trust yourself, and believing in yourself, and communicating with yourself, and unblocking your pain and your suffering and all the things that you hold on to, because they become a blockage in your system. And then you will medically show that in your physical body. You will have issues in certain parts of your body. And some people have got, just overall tons of issues. And it's like, it just keeps growing and growing and growing, because you're not dealing with things. You're forgetting what you're here to do. You're forgetting what you're capable of. You're just forgetting about so much stuff. You're just too caught up in the dramas, too caught up in the BS. And so anyways, but that is where, people are not just trapped in these dramas and stuff, which these dramas seem to be clarifying moments of trying to get you to question things, to try and get you to see things, because the questioning things is when you start turning yourself back on, reconnecting the dots. It's like when you are powering up is when you start questioning things. Otherwise, these people who want to be like, oh, NPCs and stuff, we were all NPCs. We were all a bunch of zombies. We were all a product of our environment. We were all just going around doing what we were told, and being monitored by one another to be, good citizens, to be lawful, to follow the rules. And so once you start questioning those things, then it starts being like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? What am I doing this for? And so that's what all this prickly stuff that's going on out there, even though that they do try and create a lot of distraction, but then you have this other force coming in with all this absurd bullshit, where it's like, wait a minute, what? How does that make sense? And so then you spark. Once you've stoked that fire, you've created a spark, an energetic spark of thought that starts to pull you more into yourself, and pull you out of this physical slumber that you have been brought into. It's like you've been hypnotized to be this slave in this system. And so once you start questioning things, it pulls you out of the turmoil of being stuck and being used by them. But that's why we have so many different people in all of these different points. But there's one other thing too, and this is something that with this person who's blaming this other person, but it's in all of our stuff that you see in society. The ego is out there. That's why you got to get your ego in check, because otherwise you're driven by your ego. It holds you back, and so you think you know it all, and that everybody else is wrong, and that is holds you back from being able to cleanse yourself, cleanse your soul. And so we have this, and this is kind of the battle of division, is very ego driven. And it's so important for us to start coming together. Yesterday I was sitting there thinking about, I did a short on it too, but I was thinking about Richard Pryor was coming into my mind. And I was thinking, man, Richard Pryor was so popular. And I was thinking, it's so weird because, he was black comedian, and he was so popular. And there was nobody being like, oh, I'm not listening to that black guy. What has he got to say? And everybody listened to him. Everybody loved him. And George Carlin and Richard Pryor were really popular when I was young. And then I think that other, I can't think of his name, but there's another big name, I can't think of it. But anyways, but these two were really popular when I was young, and they had records out. My dad would play their records. And the but there wasn't a thing about like, we're not going to listen to him because he's black. Everybody loved Richard Pryor. Nobody, it wasn't a thing back then. And even when all these shows, the Jeffersons, Fresh Prince was even later on, but the Jeffersons, Sanford and Son, and I'm pretty sure, all black people watched All in the Family. There was like, it wasn't divided out like that. It was just, and then somehow it switched, and they started saying, no, black people don't get roles. Well, they had fucking roles when I was a kid. I don't know what the hell's going on now, but they had their own shows and stuff, and everybody tuned in and watched them. It wasn't like only black people watched these shows. We all watched these shows. Everybody did. Everybody you talked to watched them. Oh, did you see what happened on the Jeffersons last night? Oh, what about old Sanford and Son? Can you believe him? It was always. And people would quote out of these shows. So it wasn't this this hate driven, like they're worse than us or anything. And another thing too is people, when I was a kid, they went around with their big afros. Everybody had big fros, and they had their pick stuck in them, and they'd be walking around picking their hair and stuff. And so I don't know when all of a sudden this became a thing where it was like, we don't accept their hair. And so they have to straighten it, and they have to wear wigs. They have to braid it and stuff. I didn't know anybody who was like, even when I was working at, so I was in my 20s, and I was working at this doctor's office. It was my first job that I got out of when I became a medical assistant. And I was the medical assistant, and then the girl who was the office manager, she was a black girl, and she was young like me. She may have been a couple years older than me. But anyway, she had a big fro. That was in a doctor's office. And so, and she was so pretty too. And anyways, but then once she quit, then he asked me if I wanted that job. So I became the office manager. And then I had different girls that were medical assistant. But anyways, so I don't know when all of this, and it's kind of weird because, so this lady, and I think she's Hispanic, and she moved to Spain. So she has 5 kids and a husband, and she decided to move to Spain. And so she said, she wanted to show this video. She said this was so weird. And so her little 5-year-old, I think she had a 5-year-old and 3-year-old, but she had 5 kids. I don't know, this 5-year-old, I think it was. She maybe she's 3. I'm pretty sure she was 5. She was in school, and they were doing their Christmas performance, and they told all the parents to send their kid home, kid to school with a pair of jeans on, a white t-shirt, and their hair pulled up. And so she took a picture of how she sent her child off. Then they show up at their performance, which I thought it was cute. And this is the thing. This is like all by perspective. But so they had all the kids all had on afros. All of them had smudges of black on their face, and all of them had these blue robe things on. And kind of like, graduation, but they were supposed to all be gospel singers. So they were doing all these songs, and they were supposed to be gospel singers. And I thought, oh my God, that is the cutest thing that they did that. And here, I was thinking, I guess they can get away with that in Spain, man. They do it over here, it'd freaking be like they'd be burning the school down or something. And so now I've seen a video of somebody saying like, oh my God, I can't believe that they would do that. They're putting them in blackface over there. How dare you, and stuff like that. It's like, I don't think you're seeing it the same way as but people are doing it because they love the gospel singers, and they want these kids to go out there and pretend to be gospel singers. And I was thinking, and they get so offended when they're putting black on their face to make their face darker, but they're trying to show what, that they're black gospel singers. They were cute as hell. And this lady's so offended and stuff. And so it kept playing in my mind, because I kept being like, I don't want to be like, like no compassion. Like I don't see anything from their perspective, because I don't know. I mean, I didn't grow up black in a certain time of this world. I don't know, I mean, apparently, guys are going and being hunted by 3 carloads of crazy people. And there's all these horrible stories going on all the time. But there's horrible stories with everybody, but there is a lot of stories of horrible things happening to black people. And so I was thinking about it yesterday, and I was trying to think, like, I wonder why to me, it seems like the cutest thing, like they're doing this out of like adoration for, like these black gospel singers are the coolest. We want to be like, have a little black gospel singers. And which they're all, Hispanic kids too. And so I was thinking, I wonder why it builds so much offense in the whole thing, and I don't know, because they start bringing up all these other things. And because there was like blackface, there was a singer who way back in the 40s or the 20s or something, and people would go see him like he was a thing. And I don't know if it was like, I don't think he was making fun of people, like, so I don't know, I'm not that familiar with them or whatever. I don't know what all this stuff is that has created so much tension around this kind of ideal of wanting to represent things out of a black culture that you think are cool or you like. It's like you're doing it out of love, not out of hate. You're not having all the kids dress up like that because you hate the gospel singers and you're trying to make fun of them. You're doing it because you think they're cool as shit. And then, and everybody, like, for them to sit there and think like people don't like afros. I think lots of people like afros. I mean, you've even got a whole trend in China where they're going out and getting afros. It's like people like afros. I don't know. There's a big trend right now of afro hair. So I don't know where, we're coming up with like people don't like afros. It's like, fuck, if I had that hair, I'd freaking throw it out, man. So it's just weird. And then I was thinking, I wonder how they would feel if it was like all these kids dressed up as like geishas, and they painted their face white and dressed in that attire, because they wanted to do a geisha show, or something about the Chinese history or something. It's like, I don't know, it just seems weird. It seems so weird. Like, I don't know. I mean, when the Wayans brothers did the movie White Chicks, I mean, was everybody, I think everybody was laughing. I thought it was funny. I don't think white people were like, how dare them? That's so fucking rude. And they were making fun of, this kind of certain style of white girl. And it was funny. It was like Paris Hilton. We all found it funny. So it's just weird. It's like, where does this come from? This like feeling like people are hating you instead of like admiring or trying to show love. I don't know. It just is, things are just seem so kooky out there. But I don't know. I knew that there was going to be people who were going to become offended, and I'm sure she's not going to be the last one doing a video talking about this school needs to be, canceled because they let these kids all do their Christmas performance as gospel singers. I just think it was so cute. But I mean, I'm guilty of this whole blackface thing because when my one of my kids, because I loved Aunt Jemima, one of my kids, I had this dress and it reminded me of Aunt Jemima. So I had my little 3-year-old. I fixed her up as Aunt Jemima, and I did put some smudges of black on her face so that people would know who she was. She had the little bandana, she had the little dress, the little apron. I just thought she was cute as can be. Because I loved Aunt Jemima. I'm not doing it because it was like, it's just so weird. Like, why would we do something that we think is, we're trying to do it out of hate. We're doing it out of love. But then why do we do something out of love and then people get offended by it? And I don't know. There's just so much weird stuff out there. But it is like a personal thing. This is our own personal stuff to see how we feel about things. But then we also, got to have compassion. We can't just sit here and think like, well, they're wrong. I just don't know what their thing is. What it is that they see that I don't see, Because again, I mean, the Wayans did whiteface and were white chicks and making fun of them, and it was funny as hell. So I don't know. Anyways, so whatever with this place, it's your whole thing into sovereignty is this identifying what you feel about things, what you think about things, and becoming your full self, not hiding these parts of yourself, not pretending to be something that you're not to make other people happy, just really embracing what and who you are and healing the things. And it's not even like you have to heal everything and change yourself into something else. It is, it's really a lot of letting go of things. And it's like healing yourself, how you see yourself. So it's like healing your perspective of self through this process of letting go of things and clarity. Because like even when I've been like, oh my God, I'm so impatient, I gotta not yell today. One time I'm not gonna yell at the dogs, I'm gonna not be impatient, which I've already yelled at Ruthie, and I feel bad because it's just pouring and pouring. I can't hear her, and she doesn't want to go outside, and she kept going over and ringing the bell. So I go open the door, and then she'd go back. I was getting so mad. It was like, I'm trying to do something. Go out. I'm not going to keep coming over here every few minutes. Go out. And she's just like, she gets so, like, she knows I'm mad. I feel bad. But anyways, when I've been really hard on myself about being impatient and grumpy and stuff like that, then, I get this loud message of like, well, why do you think you got to be so perfect? Maybe you have reasons to be upset. Maybe you have reason. It's like, yeah, I guess, yeah. Why do we go so hard on ourselves? Why do we think we have to be perfect? It's like, no, you're not gonna just heal everything and become this perfect specimen. You're just gonna, get comfortable with yourself, being able to be yourself and be more mindful and like be more aware of yourself. So it's, it's valid and it's important, and it is what your code. It's like putting all your codes back in order. It's removing your blockages and overcoming the, it's like what was that? Oh, yeah, the errors. So, oh, it's like overcoming the errors and removing the blockages and getting your code going so you are spinning as fast as the energy that is spinning that you're trying to enter, because that is your vibration, your entry point, and that's why you got to pick it up. You want to be entering, and especially it's like things in this place are picking up, it's picking up steam. And so it's, you got to pick up steam too if you want to be entering into the higher vibration. And I don't know how it's going to go. If it's going to be like this blast, and then a whole bunch of people got better things going on, and then this other group of people, because this is what it seemed like to me before. Like all these people think good things would start happening, and then it would get these other people be like, well, I want to heal. I want to do that. I want to go in that direction. And that there would be this period of time where people would get that opportunity. But maybe this is that period of time where people have this opportunity, but nobody's really in good places right now. Even the people who have, tried to pull free from the system, I mean, they're getting arrested. We're living in barns and shit. So it's like we're not to that part of like, oh, things are better. We're still like breaking free. So I don't know, it still seems to me like people are going to have more opportunity to heal and figure out like how to heal and which direction to go and what to do before, there is going to be a lot of people who are going to, I mean, if it's a natural disaster, a lot of people are going to die. But the people before the new earth splits off from the other one, like this rapture or whatever, to me it seems like then there's this period of where people get an opportunity to raise their vibration, to try and come into alignment. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. It's hard to know. But we will know, because it's going to play out, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. It's all coming in. It's coming in faster and faster, and more things are happening, and it's all happening, hopefully so people keep waking up and taking charge of their lives and start connecting to themselves. And, your sign may be like, leave this place, leave where you are, because it was heavy on my heart when I was over there. I'm telling you, it was like every day I would sit there and think, man, I swear to God, I need to get out of here. And so that's where I kept on thinking, okay, well, if I lose the house, that means that, if I get evicted, that means that I'm leaving this area for a reason. And so it was like, I knew it was out of my hands. I knew it was in the hands of the universe. It's in my flight plan. It's already in the plan. That's the thing too. It's like, even when you can read your flight plan ahead and you know that you have things ahead, there's still things you got to go through to get there. And that's the part where you got to trust and have faith and everything. But you can kind of look ahead into your flight plan and see like, oh, I'm way up there over, but how do I get there? And then you just got to start going towards it, and then trusting that things that come in to your orbit and your transits are there to keep you moving in that direction. And that's where you get into the groove of being with the flow of life, and not trying to fight it and battle it. And that's a part of breaking free from the physical, getting into the groove and trusting your spirit. Spend more time, in communication with your spirit, and meditation, reflection, talking to yourself. That's more productive than, watching the news. Like, watching the news is just kind of, to me, like, I see these news clips and stuff on TikTok, and that's how, like, I'll find out, like, oh, the power's out here. Oh, there's a storm over there. Oh, there's another storm coming this way. Oh, they got this going on. So there's things, but there's people who just tune in, and it's like, I don't know. It's like they're looking for something out there, like which I probably am too. What is going on in the world? What is going on? How much further have we made it? How much further are we coming? We're all trying to figure out like what's going on. How long is this going to take, anyways? And what's next? And so, anyways, we all have our ways of approaching it, but you do want to try and not let it overtake you, not let it become your whole existence. Sometimes I feel like I'm speaking to myself too, not just not just speaking, but I'm like talking to myself, reminding myself of these things. So anyways, because sometimes, yeah, I feel like I spend too much time on TikTok and it's so fucking stupid. It's just like you gotta go through 100 motherfucking videos to get to one motherfucking thing. It's like, God dang, I cannot believe it. So, anyways, and I'm always like, I'm just gonna go off of it. But then it's like, well, then I'll really not know anything that's going on in the world. But do we really need to know what's going on in the world? I don't know. I don't know. We're in a time of change, and it's our own. It's our own thing, and the thing is that we're gonna have a good look at ourselves soon, and I probably will look and see like, oh, yeah, you did waste a lot of time, because this was always gonna happen, and you wasted time trying to see like when's it gonna happen, how's it gonna happen, and so I don't know, but we're all gonna get a clearer look at ourselves, so it's coming. So, anyways, and it's gonna be a clarity. When certain things go down, there will be clarity, and it's opportunity to see parts of yourself. Parts in denial, parts in fear, parts that are neurotic. All the different parts. But again, don't shame yourself and be hard on yourself. You've got to accept yourself. Everything's about accepting yourself and working towards accepting yourself and letting go of things. So, and in the process, you learn to love yourself. You learn to love everybody else. And then you learn how to have the day that you want to have. And it's all of how what your focus is, how you put yourself out there. So, anyways, we'll see what today is. So now we're on the 21st. So we'll see what this day brings us. And I know it's bringing storms. There's more storms here. And it's supposed to be it said it's sleeting, snowing, and raining at the same time here. And so it's going to be shit for the next few days. And who knows? There's supposed to be more floods happening. There's just all sorts of stuff going. The big thing is this earthquake volcano situation on the West Coast. That's the thing. It's like I'm more on my edge of my seat of like, when's that going to happen? And it's like, because it's going to happen. It's just, knowing when. And there's, always people who are like, oh, it won't happen for another 100 years. Well, I don't know. Sure, there's a lot of stuff happening. There's all sorts of little earthquakes and all sorts of stuff. Oh, well, that's just, it fix it. We'll see. We'll see. There's a lot of stuff happening. There's a lot of places, and it is a time of change. And when there's a reset, it is starting over. And, these places aren't going to be there anymore. They're going to be under the water. So anyways, we'll see what this day brings us, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.